All right, a very good afternoon. Welcome back to eNCA. This is Sports on All Angles. Historically, very few schools in South Africa offered cricket and rugby and often produce the bulk of our international players. This has not grown to include many other institutions in the country, let alone in disadvantaged schools. And the few that are trying to develop cricket are faced with financial challenges. We speak with cricket development coach Gift Kaka on the prohibitive costs of sports like cricket, with the cost of bats, helmets, pads, etc. in the thousands for each item. Those costs keep a large section of the population out of the game. And in these tough economic times, how will everyone cope? Well, we get insights from Kaka about this through our reporter Hloni Mthimkulu. Very good afternoon, Hloni. How's it going there?
Good afternoon, Arthur. As you mentioned, the costs of those individual cricket equipment items, for example, a bat, I was looking online, and the costs, they start from around 849 Rand for a basic bat, but the more decent ones go for between 2,000 and 3,000, and then the costs go up more than that. You've got the gloves that you need, you've got the different pads that you need, you've got the helmet that you need, and as you said, Gift Kaka is someone who knows very well about the costs that are involved in this one bat, 2,000 to 3,000 Rand for a basic bat that a child can use. Just those prohibitive costs, how much of an impact do they make?
Well, it's a lot of impact. Cricket is a very expensive sport, irrespective of your background or your color. It's just expensive, and we're trying to make cricket a national sport, but at the same time it is very expensive. So it's all about affordability at this moment, and it's the survival of the fittest, because every parent is struggling. Like you've said now, a decent bet between 2,000 to 3,000, and that's not all. You still need your pads, you still need your ball box, you still need your thigh guard, you still need your helmet, you still need your gloves. So there's a lot that goes into it.
And just in terms of that, we talk about especially the schools, the specific schools that children go to that to get the best or to be selected as one of the country's best cricketers. Just talk to us about that as well, and how that kind of might keep people out of the game.
Yeah, look, usually those traditional schools, we're talking of KES, those big schools, and all the boys' schools, especially in Joburg, that side. Yes, the guys do go there. However, I mean, a region like ours, Ekurhuleni, for an example, I know we don't have lots of boarding schools, and we don't have lots of boys' schools that can offer cricket after school and like the big Joburg schools. However, it is important that parents do also support your local federations in terms of saying, okay, my child is bred and buttered here at Ekurhuleni. I want them to carry on with cricket this side. However, again, you cannot make those choices. Education is important. If they're giving you education and they're looking at you as a person holistically, not just your cricket side, but also as a parent, I would also take my child to such schools. But yes, it does impact in a way that smaller provinces are losing players, whereas your bigger provinces like your Tshwane and your Joburg, your Western Cape, KZN, they're gaining more players, which they are being produced by the smaller provinces.
Just back to the cost of the equipment, how long does a child keep that equipment? So if you buy them a kit, however much you spend, how long do they keep it? How long do you have to replace it?
Well, you have to buy the right size, and unfortunately these kids grow. If, for an example, if let's say you've bought them a size 5 and then they've grown and they're much more stronger, they can't use that and they go to the next age group, I'd say to be fair, about 2 years, and then they move on to the next equipment. So every 2 years you have to be able to buy new equipment. So it's not something that you can take lightly. But luckily, when they are seniors, at least that's got a bit of a longer lifespan, because the equipment gets more expensive. So at least it's got a bit of a longer lifespan, 5, 6, 7 years. So at least when they're seniors, it gets to last them.
Sure. And just lastly, we're talking about the cost of living, and obviously that, I guess, doesn't become a priority for some people when you look at just a basic education and just the day-to-day cost of food and things like that. In the sporting environment, your experiences of seeing kids that could have made it possibly, but those sorts of things were kind of keeping them out.
Well, my heart bleeds when you ask such questions. There's a lot of talent that we've lost throughout the years because of such. And, as a teacher myself, as a coach, as a parent, I always try to make sure that, even if the child doesn't have equipment, but, the schools do have such, the bags, the clubs do have, you never know what will come out of the child. Yes, it's not, the cost of living is too high. I mean, if I have to decide between buying a 3,000 bed and groceries for a month, I mean, where my money is going. But as coaches and CSA, I have to applaud them for this. Like they've given hubs, clubs, schools, some of the schools, some equipment which will help in terms of supporting these kids, and I'm very grateful for that. But over the years, yes, we've lost a lot of talent because of the affordability and because cricket is now an expensive sport. And I'm talking of the previously disadvantage. I mean, we live from hand to mouth, and buying spikes, that will be cricket spikes, that's 800, and then thinking of buying school shoes and a couple of textbooks, where my money will go again. So I commend CSA and the government for, putting in funds and then supporting, especially cricket being an expensive sport, and getting some equipment to the schools and clubs.
Well, thank you so much, Arthur. That was Gift Klaka, who is a cricket development manager, and he talks about the importance of CSA's hubs and the development system that they have there. They've got the mini cricket as well. That kind of goes some way, or a long way, possibly, in terms of helping the development side. When you look at the costs that are involved in cricket, and where parents have to choose between, say, general basic things of living versus sports things, and how, in some instances, talent is lost because of that.
All right, thank you very much, Hloni Mthimkulu. Very insightful interview there with Gift Klaka.